Hello there friends, thank you so much for tuning into this video. So today I am looking at this topic where I'm just thinking about selfishness, comparing it to servanthood, right? I'm just thinking that, us as women, most of the people who 50% of the people who watch these videos are female. And what I do realize is that there's this whole movement these days of the whole self-care drive, self-care movement, because I think our nature as women, we've become so nurturing, we want to give so much to others, that it's become like a phenomena. It's a thing that we overgive, and overgiving leads to us being depleted. And as a result, there's all this self-care. What are you doing for yourself to take care of yourself so that you can, I guess, give from a full cup? And that's a real question in terms of, should we then be selfish? Because the whole self-care, it's about, driving ourselves towards taking care of our selfish needs. Or because when I say selfish, it sounds, the word selfish itself, it's been noted or recognized as a bad word in society. We're just told not to be selfish, we need to be taking care of others. And I feel it's one of the, would I even call it the greatest burden that women face? But I guess even men might be experiencing this to some level, but I feel like women a lot more. So I guess the question is then, should I be selfish or should I be a servant? Because that's what we do, right? We want to serve others. As women, we want to serve, our families, we want to serve at work, we want to serve in our careers, we're serving everywhere. So should we be selfish or should we serve? What should we be doing? Okay, so that's a conversation I'm having today. It's a conversation I'm having. I just want to check here, what did I write? Okay, let's talk about this though. We live in a society that, what I even say is the society, is the nature of the human condition at this point in time, that most of us feeling a lot of lack. We feel we're not worthy. As a result, I'll say the world, through media, social media, through things, it tries to give us value through achieving or getting things. And therefore, the society or the world, let's put it the world, will always be presenting ideas or brands that if you associate with this, if you get this, then you're going to feel like you are worthy. And as a result, because we don't have self-worth or we don't feel the value within ourselves, we then go chasing after the things that the world tells us we must chase in order to gain that value. And I feel if we're not careful, we can end up hooked in those cycles of chasing things, chasing brands, chasing things outside of ourselves that are going to make us feel like we're worthy. And as a result, we can spend our whole lives chasing things that don't actually add value to our lives. I'm mentioning that as like a cautionary thing to say. Would I say cautionary to say, then what should we do about that? What should we do about the fact that sometimes we feel empty and we want to feel like we are worthy? How do we move from that situation? How do we move from a point where we feel like we need external things that the world provides to us in order for us to feel like we're valuable? Because without that branded bag, I feel like I am not valuable. So I need to get myself a very expensive branded bag in order to feel valuable. What do we do about all of that? Because then we frame that as self-care or self-love, to buy myself those things that add value to me. Let me think about that a lot more. There's the should I call it even the words that Jesus speaks when he's teaching. He tries to sum up the 10 commandments, and I think the disciples were asking him, okay, what should we be doing? And he sums up the 10 commandments as that actually the one commandment, if you are summing them all up, it's we should love the Lord our God with all of our heart, our mind, and soul. And then we should love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So the reason why I'm pulling that one up is to talk about the whole idea of serving others. So from the way Jesus puts it, it's like we serve because of love, but he puts it as if our self-love, not self-love, love for neighbor comes from the love of God and love for self, because it says love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and soul, and then love your neighbor as yourself. So it's like love God, love self, love neighbor. That's the order in which I would put this. Therefore, if then you're struggling to say, then who do I serve? Do I serve self or do I serve others? Jesus puts it, serve God, serve self, serve neighbor. Yeah, I think I'm coining that one. Serve God, serve self, serve neighbor. Serve neighbor. And if you put it in that order, then you're not going to be depleted. You're not going to be running empty. Because the other problem, I would even call it a problem, the other situation is that we are not really designed to just be self-serving. When you live a life where you're only serving yourself and you're not serving your neighbor, it's a very limited life. It's not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling. Like, I feel, if we look at what are the things that you need to, if you are serving yourself, let's start there. You need shelter, you need food, you need clothing, and those needs are met. Those are basic needs. Oh, okay, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Let me not go into that one. But yeah, your basic needs. But then in order to live a fulfilling life, in order to have impact, because our lives, we want to be people of impact. It's just by design, the way God placed in each and every one of us, we need to make an impact in this world. And I guess hence the world is going through a process of becoming better, let me call it like that. And we are the people who are making it become better because of the God power, or the God, should I call it, the God force within all of us. The power of God in us wants goodness to reign. We want to bring heaven here on earth, and as a result, we do that through serving. So hence, serve God, serve self, serve your neighbor. And God's heart has always been for his people, right? Let's see. Okay, I came up with two things here to say, okay, now, if you are saying, I'm a woman, I'm in business, I want to balance out my life, I want to take care of my family, I want to take care of friendship relationships, I want to take care of family relationships, I want to take care of everything else, then how do I do it? How do I live a well-balanced life and not be self-serving? Or should I be self-serving? How do I balance selfishness or selfish ambitions versus the servant ambitions that I have for the family at large, or for the society at large, for the impact that I want to bring in the world? How do I do it? And I put two stages there. The first thing I said, you need to understand that your energy, you as a vessel, as a person, you contain energy, your light energy, your life force, your spirit. It's very precious, right? That energy, and it needs to be protected. That's the first thing. you protect your energy, you protect your light. That's your energy, your light, your spirit, your force, all of that. It needs to be protected from the world first for it to thrive. How do you protect? And hence, those are the ideas of self-care. Self-care, nurturing the spirit man through spiritual practices, meditation, prayer, walking in nature. I talk about them on my other videos in terms of what must one do in order to maintain a spiritual connection. But that will be the first thing, to protect your light. I'm thinking of the words that Jesus talks about. He says, I am the light of the world. And he says, let your light so shine before all men, so that they can see the goodness of the Father and glorify the Father for your good works. Basically, you have to protect your fire, protect your light. The second stage is you need to share your light, and you share your fire, your source, your light. And how do you do that? How do you share your energy? Because your energy is valuable. Whew. That's a critical question. How to share? I would think you have to share. There's different ways of sharing. Obviously, you share with family, you share with friends, you share with business, you share with, and the way in which you share is unique to you. But it's important to share your light. And sometimes you have to share for free, which is the donation aspect of your life. Sometimes you have to share for a reciprocation, like as in, when you're sharing your energy at work, you expect to be compensated for that. When you're sharing in business, you expect to be paid back for that, right? So there's aspects of it where your sharing of your light, you need to be paid back. Some of it you need to share for free, but sharing your light is something you have to do. You have to share. And that is where I ended today. I hope it made sense, guys. Like, as I'm putting these things together, sometimes they make sense in my head, and I hope it makes sense to you too when I share it. But what I'm trying to say with this video is that selfishness is important, if I can just summarize it like that, because selfishness is it's an aspect of yourself where you are protecting your life. So you have to protect your light in order to share. You have to protect your energy. So selfishness is part of the process of sharing, of being a servant. So you have to be selfish first before you become a servant. And hence, the way Jesus puts it is loving the Lord your God with all your heart. I would say that's the selfish aspect first, taking care of the God aspect of your life, and then loving yourself, and then loving your neighbor as self. Because loving God and loving self is one, according to me anyways, because God dwells in you. The Spirit of God is inside of you. So if you love God, you love the Spirit, your higher self. So you love yourself if you love God. I'll put it there. I'll end it there, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.